Okay, so let's dive into this performance report. We're looking at a PPC Max Performance campaign. The main period is April 14th through to May 13th. And we're comparing that against the month before, basically March 15th to April 13th. The big thing that jumped out and why we're doing this deep dive is a pretty significant change in total revenue. So the goal here is to unpack what's behind that shift and, give you the key takeaways without you needing to wade through all the data yourself.
Yeah, and right off the bat, that total revenue figure, it's quite something. An increase of, what was it, ER 1,538.31. We're putting that into percentage terms, that's a 48.68% growth, nearly 50%. That kind of jump in just 1 month, it really makes you stop and think, okay, what exactly happened here? Was it like a new targeting strategy that suddenly clicked? Or maybe something external shifted in the market?
It's intriguing. Absolutely. And it's not just a fluke in one metric. The gross purchase revenue shows exactly the same increase, 48.68%, hitting EUR 4.7K. So this feels like a pretty broad lift, not isolated, but beyond just the top line numbers. Who's actually driving this? Is it existing customers or?
Well, that leads to a really interesting point for like long-term health, which is new customer acquisition. The report shows 34 first-time purchasers during this time frame. 34. That tells us the campaign isn't just relying on people who already know the brand. It's actually pulling in new audiences and converting them, which is, a really strong sign of effective reach.
Okay, that's good context. Now, shifting gears slightly, the revenue trend analysis, the report mentions that too. It sounds like there was a definite upward trend overall in this latest period, not just flat.
That's right, a clear upward movement. But interestingly, it wasn't perfectly smooth. There were specific days that really spiked. The data calls out April 20th, April 30th, and May 5th. Those days saw significant peaks in revenue.
Peak days.
Yeah, so the question becomes, what was special about those days? Promotions, maybe. Specific events. Or did something else happen? Like maybe a competitor dropped the ball, or we saw a surge from a particular channel. Lots to potentially look into there.
Right. Understanding those peaks could unlock some real insights. And the report mentions a graph, a visual representation.
Yes, exactly.
Apparently that shows the current period consistently outperforming the previous one, like the whole line is higher.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
That visual really drives it home. It suggests that across most days, performance was just better this time around, which gives you more confidence. It wasn't just 2 or 3 lucky days carrying the whole period. It points to a more fundamentally effective strategy or execution during April-May.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's move on to the insights and recommendations. This is where we get into the so what for you listening. The main conclusion seems pretty clear, that 48.68% growth. It signals this PPC Max Performance campaign is, performing strongly.
No doubt about it. It's a strong result. And I think it's worth circling back to those 34 new customers again, because that's not just a side note. It really reinforces the idea that the campaign is successfully reaching and converting new audiences. The targeting, the messaging, the landing experience, something there is working well for people who haven't bought before.
Right. It's growth and expansion. So the report suggests some next steps. Potential actions. First one is scaling high-performing ad segments or creatives. Now that sounds good. But how do you actually identify those winners in a campaign like this? Where do you start looking?
That's always the key question, isn't it? Usually your ad platform, Google Ads or wherever you're running this, gives you breakdowns. You can look at performance by audience segment, maybe by the theme of the ad groups, or even down to the individual ad creative, the specific text, the image, the video. You'd be looking at metrics like, click-through rate is one, but also conversion rate, crucially, and cost per acquisition. How much did it cost to get that sale or lead? A common pitfall is maybe looking at just one metric, like clicks, without seeing if they actually converted, or making big decisions on really small data volumes. You need the full picture.
Holistic view. Okay. Got it. The second next step is about those peak days we mentioned, April 20th, 30th, May 5th, analyzing them for optimization insights. So if someone's digging into those specific dates, what sort of patterns or common factors should they be hunting for?
Good question. You're basically playing detective. Were there specific sales or offers running only on those days? That's often a big one. Did web traffic spike from a certain source, maybe social media or email, or from a specific region? Did you perhaps change bids or budgets around that time? Sometimes even external things like news cycles or competitor actions can play a role. You're looking for correlations. What was different on those days compared to the average day? Can we learn something repeatable from that?
Makes sense. Looking for those common threads. And the final next step mentioned is retargeting new customers for repeat purchases. So you've got these 34 new buyers. Why is it so vital to have a specific plan to bring them back?
Well, retargeting new buyers is super important because look, they've already crossed the biggest hurdle they made, that first purchase. They've shown interest. They trust you enough to buy once. So they're effectively a much warmer audience than trying to acquire someone completely new again by reaching out to them again, maybe with related products or a small discount on their next purchase or just useful content related to what they bought. You significantly increase the odds they'll buy again. It's all about building that customer lifetime value and loyalty, really. It's much more efficient than constantly finding brand new customers.
Right, nurturing that relationship you've just started. Okay, so let's try and summarize this. If you had to give the absolute headline takeaway from this deep dive, what would it be?
I'd say the headline is, wow, this PPC Max Performance campaign really hit its stride, delivering a very substantial 48.68% revenue boost. And crucially, this wasn't just squeezing more from existing customers. It included bringing 34 brand new purchasers into the fold. So real growth.
Okay, strong performance, new customer acquisition. And for you listening, what are the sort of actionable things to take away here?
I think the key actions are, first, there's clear potential value in digging deeper to find out which specific ads or audience segments drove that success so you can scale them. Second, those peak days, April 20th, 30th, May 5th, they hold clues. Analyzing what happened then could unlock optimization tactics. And third, don't forget those new customers. Actively retargeting and nurturing them is key for sustainable long-term growth.
Great summary. So thinking beyond just this report, we see this impressive growth, these new customers coming in. What's a further question someone could ask now? Like what deeper